teach. Before I get started tonight, you've always heard me say this about, having a lot of fun tonight. Can you get a yes on having a lot of fun? Can I get a yes? Thank you. Playing along with me. Good. I've had a long day. And then can I get a yes on open to learning something new? Can I get a yes there?
Yes.
Okay, good. And then before we go any further, like we did in the last workshop, because it reminds me of my roots and it reminds me of the old workshops where you got me looking a lot younger playing in the back. Thank you for all your kind comments between the shiny shirt. And I had a couple of people ask me if it was actually me. Like, is that like, yeah, that was me like a decade ago. So thanks for noticing. So what I want to start off with is my favorite thing. So we're gonna talk. These workshop series. Where's my markers? Are going to encompass. They're on the floor, and they're here. My staff, I said I needed markers, and I got markers than you've ever seen before. So the workshop series that we're going to cover, one of the first things that we talk about is, what is deemed a positive mental attitude, but what you hear me talk about is a relationship with God. And so the thing about this, and I want to start here tonight a little bit as we get into this time of year, is can we all put ourselves mentally in a place where we can get healthy and well? Can I get a yes on that?
Yes.
Because I can guarantee you right now, as we get into the end of the year, it gets stressful for a lot of us. The next workshop is going to focus specifically on stress. But as we roll into that, I need you to understand that one of the biggest things that served me from my mentors is whether or not you think with love or not is entirely up to you. Does that make sense to you guys? So focusing our mind in the right spot, because it's so easy to get distracted nowadays with everything going on in our culture and our lives. So I really would like to start off with the old saying, which is, I feel happy, I feel healthy, I feel terrific. Now, before I go there, do you guys practice positive? Hey, it's really good to see you, man. Sit right there. It's good. If there's a comfier one, I'll give it to you. Do you guys practice, and have you ever practiced positive affirmations?
Yes.
Yeah, do you guys do that? Do you guys practice positive affirmations? And I don't know if you don't do this, when I start off in the morning, I start off with daily devotionals because I try to get my head right before the day gets going, right? I don't watch the news. I don't pay attention to like death, damage, dismemberment, all the distractive stuff. I get my head right. I spend my time in prayer. And then I repeat these positive affirmations to myself even before the boys get up. So I get up early in the morning. I get my life going that way. So the reason here I do the I feel happy, I feel healthy, I feel terrific, it's like a positive affirmation, right? Did I ever told you the positive affirmations that I have my boys say on the way to school or we say together? Have I gone over those? I go, I feel happy, I feel healthy, I feel terrific, I am smart, I am loved, I am amazing, I can do it. And then we say that together as a family every morning because I want them to start their brain going in the right direction. If you don't do that, I recommend you do it because it sets the tone for the way the day goes, right? If you get up and you're watching the news or whatever and you're getting stressed and you're worried about, the economy, whatever's going on, then that kind of sets the tone for your day. So your ability to block that out and focus on the positive sides of your life are a big deal. It's not this workshop, but I want you to know why I set that affirmation, why I do it myself, because I don't always feel that way, just so you know. A lot of times I get up and I start thinking about all the responsibilities I have. You know what I mean? Anyone else with me there? So switching my goal and getting my head going the other direction, come on in, pays really big dividends, right? So getting started, we're going to start off, there's a spot right there for you. And we're going to start off, everyone is going to say it, I feel happy, I feel healthy, I feel terrific. On the count of 3, you guys ready? All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. I feel happy. I feel healthy. I feel terrific. Oh my God. I think that was pretty good. It was better than the last time I did it, right? You guys, it's like some people in the background, I feel this, I guess I'm going to say it. All right, so I want you to do it one more time, and I want you to try to be loud like me. Is that okay? If so, say yes.
Yes.
I'm pretty loud. All the years, all the talking, my voice is strong. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I feel happy. I feel healthy. I feel terrific. All right, give yourself a round of applause. If you don't know, I'll clap for you, all right? So, a couple housekeeping pieces as we start that. The next workshop, the last workshop for the year is Monday, December 8th. It is peace management. I'm going to send the sign-up sheet around for it. It's at 6:15 at night on Monday, December 8th. As we roll into this time of year, I mentioned it this way going in, I do see our shift of our mindset. Our mindset shifts And instead of it being about love and God and Christmas and time and joy, it starts to become about stress and presence and things we can't afford. So the workshop I'm going to do is all stress and time management. I call it peace management. I don't believe the Lord intends us to live with stress. He intends us to live with peace. So I'm going to send that around. And if you guys want to sign up for that, I would love to hold the spot. You guys all have pens, so I'll hold the pen. But send it around. It is the 8th. If you want to sign up a name and a phone number, and we'll go from there. And if you don't, pass it to the next person. We'll go from there. And then in the back of the room, coming forward, I'll hand it to Melody. This is for tonight's, or Danny, you guys can take it. This is tonight's workshop. Make sure you guys send those and sign those so you get credit. If you come to 3 workshops or more, you get 10% off of supportive maintenance care inside the office. Because when we can add the lifestyle decisions with the spinal changes, that's when God really sees change in the life. So I want you guys to come to workshops. So sign up if you're here tonight, and sign up if you want it. They're both going to come and go. All right, tonight, here it is. This is the workshop where everyone says, what do you do, Doc? What do you do? Everyone, like, oh yeah, I love all this stuff playing back, but let's just put brass tacks down. Let's simplify it. What do you do? The 5 areas of health that I focus on, we've talked about this as a health recipe, are obviously positive mental attitude, your relationship with the Lord, a strong spine and central nervous system, which is why you guys are all getting adjusted. Then we talk about nutrition. We talk about exercise. And we talk about rest. I don't know, you need to write these down. But I want you to know that tonight's workshop is here in the goal of things. Exercise, rest. These are all the things we need to do to stay healthy and well. Rest. Does anyone off the top from being at a million workshops for me know how many hours you should sleep at night?
8.
Yeah, 6 to 8. If you can get more than that, I love that. By the way, incidentally, just at a show of hands, how many people have been to at least one workshop in my office in the past? All right, keep your hands up if you've been to 2, if you've been to 3, if you've been to 4. You've been to a bunch, right? How many have been to like 5 or more, right? And if you've been to 5 or more and you keep coming to them, would someone be willing to share why you guys keep coming to the workshops with people who are new? Anybody? Yell it out.
Because you still get more.
You learn, right? And that was my grandfather. My grandfather used to say, grow, learn, every day. You say, learn something new every day. So we teach these workshops so you can add the lifestyle choices to the care. So
I think you provide so much information, so every single time it's worth coming back because you get a nugget to take back, practice, and then come back again.
Thank you for sharing that. It's tough for me too because I work on them and then I add stuff, but I try to keep it basic because if I don't keep it basic, no one sinks in. You guys remember like 20% of what I teach, right? So every time you come and you get a little thank you for sharing. Thank you guys all for sharing. Thank you. Okay, so those are the basics, right? But tonight is the nutrition protocol. Now, I had that Jason and I were talking before a little bit. He wanted to know if I was doing the sugar season. But I do have to add that right now because we just had Halloween pass. Is it really cold and flu season or is it sugar season? It's sugar season. So if you didn't know, sugar paralyzes the immune system. I could talk about it to death. When you eat sugar, I think in one of those videos back there I talked about when I was at Purdue. I went to pharmacy school first. I used to practice as a pharmacist at the VA. And when I was at Purdue, they actually did this whole sugar dynamic with an electron microscope where they pulled blood out of our arm. And then we looked at like the white blood cells. If you can imagine, this is a white blood cell. I'll put a W in there. You can see the red blood cells. And then you can see like a bacteria sitting in your bloodstream. And when you looked at it under the microscope, you could watch the white blood cell come over here, basically over time engulf it. And then over time, you just had the white blood cell like it eats the bacteria. Then they had us drink an 8-ounce glass of Tropicana orange juice because it's not just for breakfast anymore. Bad joke, no one's laughing. I don't know if you know that it's like oranges and then the next ingredient's like high fructose corn syrup, right? So then they did the same thing where they had the bacteria sitting here and you'd see your white blood cell sitting here and your red blood cell, and the white blood cell would literally sit there and vibrate and could not attack the bacteria. So when you eat sugar, it paralyzes your white blood cell's reaction to bacteria and viruses for a length of time until your pancreas can create insulin to break down the sugar. So be aware, we typically aren't getting sick at this time of year because we're being more exposed to germs, because look around you, we're all breathing each other's air, you're exposed to thousands of germs every single day. We typically are getting sick because this time of year, our lifestyle changes. For example, we eat more sugar, we get less sleep, we're hanging out with loved ones, we drink more alcohol, we're up late. I mean, just think about the changes that occur in the holidays. I'm not telling you not to enjoy the holidays. I'm telling you to be aware of the lifestyle decisions you make and how it affects your health long term. Does that make sense? I had a workshop too, I don't know if you guys remember, it was how the holidays shaved 25 years off of your life. And that's because if every year from October to January you just throw caution to the wind and say forget about it, I'm eat whatever I want, and it paralyzes your immune system year after year after year, you literally decrease your ability to function. Does that make sense as a group? So and it's not this workshop, but I have to start off with, is it really cold and flu season or is it just sugar season? So be aware the holidays only represent a couple days. Enjoy, spend time with your family, eat what you want for Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, but don't let it encompass 3 months or you will get sick and you'll have a hard time recovering from it. All right, first thing we're going to talk about tonight, which isn't even on here for this workshop. Why do I call it Stay Fit While You Sit? Well, because everyone wants to know how to lose weight and be healthy without working out. So I figured if I called sitting around, everyone would come. Obviously a popular topic. What I really want to talk about is what are the things that you do without the exercise component that still change the biological composition of your body. So what do you do on a daily basis that still gets your body to turn into a fat-burning furnace, maintain as much muscle mass as you can, and keep a healthy immune system? Does that make sense? So the first one, I talked about it with sugar, but the first one is you have to cut out all processed foods. So processed foods, which is not in this handout, are foods that you buy in the middle of the grocery store. So if you can make it in a box in 5 seconds in a microwave, if you can, the frozen food section, a lot of the powdered stuff that's going on, like any of the processed foods, I know they're convenient, but they have so many preservatives in them to increase their shelf life that if you eat them and they go into your body, the chemicals in them steal vital nutrients out of your own body. For example, everyone, if they're handed around and they've gone around, you guys are signing them, just sign, do what you want, and then somehow, after everyone has signed them, pass them up to the front, and I'll hand them to the front desk, okay? But the processing of the foods steal B vitamins. B vitamins are responsible for immune system. Where's that? Where's this one? You got it?
The November 3rd one, they're not, I don't for summer understanding. You give credit for being here tonight.
Okay, does everyone have the workshop? Has everyone signed the workshop for tonight? Okay, who needs to sign the workshop for tonight? Okay, so anyone else? Listen, it's like a family thing. Just yell it out. Thank you. Yeah, if you want credit. Yeah, one is if you're here tonight, you got to sign in on the one tonight, and that gives you credit, right? Is that one?
And now that's the one.
This is the next one. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Just make sure everyone's signing up on this. So that's it.
The December one didn't make it back to us.
Okay. The December one needs to go back, right? Thank you very much. I appreciate you taking. And you didn't get the one for tonight. You don't need. You just need your name on here for tonight. Perfect. And then that's the one for tonight. Good. Thank you, guys. Keep talking out loud. It's a small group. It's okay with me. It's like you don't want to interrupt, but I don't care. Okay. So processed foods steal B vitamins, which are responsible for immune system function. They also are responsible for the biggest thing is energy. So that's why they're giving B vitamin shots to people when you go to the doctor, because the B vitamins are, I don't want to get crazy about this, but they're responsible. They're cofactors in something called the Krebs cycle. And the Krebs cycle is how your body takes sugar and converts it into energy in the form of ATP. You guys remember that from basic science? But basically your body takes sugar in the form of glucose and puts it through the Krebs cycle with a B. And at the end of it, you get 24 ATP from one glucose. And these ATP are what your body uses for energy. But B vitamins, thank you guys, are responsible for the production of ATP. So if you're eating too much processed foods and sugars, you're losing the B vitamins, and so your body isn't manufacturing energy. Is that too much, or is that a good way to describe it? Yes, everyone with me? Why do I say that? And maybe you've heard this in some recent workshops, but I would say of all the symptoms I see patients deal with now, fatigue is the biggest one. Fatigue is the biggest one. There's a chair over there, sweetie, and there's one here if you want me to move it up that way.
Let me sign this now.
Yeah, okay, good. You can go, that's okay, you can keep that one there. So I see more people dealing with fatigue, chronic fatigue, lack of energy, energy loss, and then they can't sleep at night. So they're tired all day long, but then when they try to go to bed, they can't. And typically that is a product system of the processed foods and how it's affecting your body's ability to create energy. And then I think in the last workshop I talked about the fact that I can't believe how many people are walking around with like caffeinated drinks for blood. I mean, between Starbucks, that was the first joke, but now there's all kinds of energy drinks and Monsters and Alanis, and every time I turn around, someone's got another way to pump caffeine into their system. Yeah, there's one up here too. Is that one gonna work for you, Hunter? Or I can take this one. You wanna go over here and sit up close to me? Is that okay with you, Mary? Please. There's one right there for you. And then if you need a handout, Amy can get you another handout. Okay. So, immune system function, energy production. So that's the processed food.
First page.
What's that, Marty?
You flipped it, I think you signed it.
Yeah, I think you signed already.
Okay, good.
Anybody else need this?
Everyone signed for tonight? Good? All right, I'm going to put Susan in charge of next time. Everyone signed for the next one, right? Yes or yes? Yes. Okay, there you go. That's the next workshop. This one's for tonight. And I had a pen. Here, you got it?
She already signed.
I got this one here. There you go, perfect. All right. B vitamins, immune system, glucose, energy, cut out processed foods. Everyone with me? Yes or yes?
Yes.
All right, perfect.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So I've seen the B12 vitamin shot from the mall or something. Is that safe to go in there and get injected?
You don't need to do that. You could just take B complex vitamins every day. So this isn't a workshop where I'm talking about supplements I take, but the 3 supplements I take every day, I take B complex vitamins every day, because B complex vitamins, if you take them every day, and I am still eating as healthy as I possibly can, but I joke about it every workshop that I suffer from the standard American diet, because it's difficult to get all the nutrients you need, right? I always call it SAD. You guys hear me repeat it year after year. So I take B complex vitamins every day. So they have 3, 6, 9, and peroxidine in them, and then niacin. So the B12, it's got B12 in there as well. So you don't need to take the shot if you're taking the supplements. You with me? And then I take vitamin D every day. I don't know if you guys saw the research that I had shown before that like vitamin D, particularly in like when everyone was worried about getting COVID, the vitamin D levels, the people who had the highest vitamin D levels didn't even get sick. So vitamin D helps boost immune response. Let me grab what I was drinking here. Move it over here. And then the Super EPA Pro, which I had, like we sold it last month, but this is omega fats, right? And I'm going to talk about fats tonight. So these 3, the complex, the D, and then the omega fats, are something that everyone should probably take on a daily basis for energy, for function, for anti-inflammatory effect. Everyone with me? Yep, Jason.
What would be like the best food source for B?
For B vitamins, the same food source it's going to be for everything else, which is green leafy vegetables, right? Right. Did you guys get this? If you wanted to write it down. These are omega fats or fish oils, vitamin D, and then B complex. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight is like, how do you get it in food, right? So you want to cut out the processed foods. And then the functions that we're going to talk about tonight, I'll get that off of there, is based on research studies, and I just reread this study, which is so funny to me. 22 years in practice, right? First year I was in practice, there was this landmark study that said margarine is bad for you, you should just eat butter. You guys heard that, right? You guys have already heard that. I've already quoted that before. Then like 5 years later, there's another landmark study. Margarine is bad for you, you should just eat butter. Then a decade later, I mean, like what I've come to find out is that a lot of the education we get is controlled somehow, and they're like spoon feeding you things every once in a while. It sounds crazy, but I've been practicing long enough to see it where like we just had this great find that fish oil is good for you. And then 10 years later, I hear it again. So bear with me as I joke a little bit when you hear the old workshops versus now. So in the same thing, there was this study done, the first time I read it was 2004 at Duke University, where they tried to find one common factor on human immune function. So they looked at people who had cancer, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, like every form of degenerative disease they could. Fibromyalgia, which is why I read the study originally, because my doctoral dissertation was on fibromyalgia and autoimmune disorders. And so they found that when they tried to find one common factor between everyone who suffered from chronic degenerative disease, the common factor was their body's pH level, right? So if you haven't studied the pH scale before, this is 0, 7 is neutral, and then there's 14 on this side. This is chemistry 101, so bear with me. On the 0 to 7 side, this is the acid side. On the 7 to 14 side, this is the alkaline side or the base side, right? What they found, which was so interesting, and the reason I'm quoting it now is I'm going to joke with you in a minute, is that everyone who suffered from chronic disease, cancer, heart disease, diabetes, whatever, had a pH of 2 to 5, which is on the acid side. You with me so far? So the one factor they found in everyone who suffered from chronic disease was everyone who had some type of chronic disease, degenerative illness, was on the acid side of the scale. What is funny in the study is they found that the human immune system functions best at a pH of 7.365. So in the study, they realized that the more alkaline your cells and tissues were, the stronger your immune function was. The stronger your energy levels were, the less susceptible you were to getting sick, the less susceptible to cancer, right? This study was repeated again in 2014 at Harvard's med school, and then Johns Hopkins, guess what, just repeated it in 2024. And every time it comes out, they repeat it as like a landmark find. Like, we just found out. But the truth is, and it probably happened in the 70s for all I know, but the first study I read was 2004, and it just continues. So when I teach this workshop, this is basically how we structure the lifestyle, because you've heard me teach this as alkalize and energize. You've heard me teach this as boost your immune system naturally. I'm now teaching it as stay fit. While I said I just changed the title. It's true. But what I want you to get is what they have found is the biggest thing that affects whether your immune system is functioning properly or not is the food you put in your mouth. Now, I want you all to get adjusted, because we need the brain and the body to communicate. We talk about that all day long. There are other facets of health. You need to sleep at night, otherwise your body can't rebuild. You need to drink plenty of water, which we're going to talk about tonight. You need to rest. There's other things. You need to move and exercise. But they know that if you change your nutrition so you're working on this alkaline side, it prevents you from getting chronic illness long term. But they don't teach this, which is the craziest thing. So the first thing we want to do, and I'll use that chart as I go through this, is you want to like super hydrate, which is the first one, which means you want to drink lots and lots and lots of water. And that is not lots and lots of caffeine, because caffeine is a diuretic. I drink coffee, and that means every time you drink coffee, you lose water. That's not sodas. It's not orange juice. It's not cranberry juice. It's water. One of the first fights I ever had as a pharmacist in a hospital, I had a patient, and I've talked about this before, but they look at skin turgor, and don't ever start grabbing your arm. But, they look at your skin for rebound to see how dehydrated you are, right? And that's what they're doing. They pinch you and let go, and they watch your skin. It's supposed to go right back down. And I was like maybe 22, and this patient was like high blood pressure, had all these challenges, and I was always trying to figure out like how to get people off of drugs. And okay, you got to get on short term, good. We're going to get you to the other side where we get you off. And so this one patient, I just, for curiosity, I did it. I pulled the turn and I let go, and it just stayed there. And I probably could have counted to like 15 before it went down. And I was like, how much water do you drink, like on a daily basis? And they just said, none. I don't know. I drink fluid. And then the attending physician behind me yelled over the top of me, they don't have to drink water. They can just drink fluid. It's good enough to get the fluid in. Because it was their patient. And I turned around and I was like, where did you go to school? Like Toys R Us? And then the guy looked at me and he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, I don't care what initials are attached to your name. When can you substitute like high fructose corn syrup for water? When can you substitute, orange juice for water? When can you substitute ocean spray, which is mostly sugar, for water? We got in a big fight and my boss called me and I go, I don't care who the guy is. Like, he's going to kill his patients. Like, I heard him tell someone, you could just drink coffee. And I'm like, dude, that's a diuretic. Where's your head? But I've never been anyone, if you don't know me, that doesn't stand up for what's right. It doesn't always work for me. But like, I thought it was ridiculous. So know that when you want to, get your body healing, you have to drink 3 liters of water a day. And that's the first one in there, which is super hydrate. 3 liters of water a day, keep the doctor away. If you need to add flavor to it, there's all kinds of stuff you can add flavor to it with now. I recommend, because I talked about the lemon wedge in water at the last workshop, just putting fresh squeezed lemon juice in the water and putting ice in there just to give it some flavor. Because the citric acid in the lemon juice actually helps move you towards the alkaline side, not the acid side. We'll talk about why in a second. And if you drink, the minimum blood pH alkalizes and energizes all cells and tissue, thereby optimizing proper function, which is the fill-in number 2. The human body is over I always said 85% water, then I read another study that said it was 90% water. So either way, we know that you're mostly made up of water. You with me so far? So if you don't drink enough water on a daily basis, here's the crazy thing, and I've quoted this book for years too. Bhat Majda, who's a medical doctor, he wrote a book called You're Not Sick, You're Just Thirsty. And he talked about how many chronic diseases people suffer from because they're dehydrated. And they're just not drinking enough water. And again, and I've said this for 22 years, if everyone just started drinking more water and you came back to the next workshop next month, there'd be so many health miracles you wouldn't know what to do with yourself. Because so many of the drinks that we're drinking on a daily basis they're like dehydrating your body. So if there's high fructose corn syrup in it, that's a sugar product, it's glucose, it's dehydrating your body. If there is caffeine in it, it's dehydrating your body. Juices have a lot of sugar in them, they're dehydrating your body. And I know it's not popular, like all the stuff you see now, like the element drinks that have salts in them that are good for your system as well. You still have to drink extra water even though you're drinking those. So just be aware of that when you're talking about it. So 3 liters a day. And the key there is drink when you're not thirsty.
I have a question.
I have an answer.
I had a doctor tell me that my Pellegrino addiction was bad for my bones. And it's not really an addiction, it's just like one.
Like sparkling water?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
So it's not true.
No. Now that's another conversation, but let me get into it. Yep, go ahead.
I heard that carbon is takes the calcium out of the cells.
Yeah, but the challenge with that is when you read the studies on how much carbon that they have to ingest,
Yeah.
it's way past like 1 San Pellegrino.
Okay.
And then I would argue at the same time that if you had a choice between drinking a Coca-Cola and a San Pellegrino, I would go with a San Pellegrino. Then I would also argue that the issue there is that the carbon dioxide is gaseous, not liquid.
Right.
So when you drink it, what does it make you do?
Burp.
So, I mean, we could go right down. Then there's the other problem with oxygenation of tissues. Like, there's so many things wrong with that. I don't know why they would say that. Like, I literally, when Danielle and I go out to, like, if I finally get, like, a date night with my wife, which is very rare nowadays, we literally order a bottle of San Pellegrino
we do that.
and lime.
Yeah,
and
we
that's
do
what I drink.
Yeah, we do
So-
that with a lemon or
Yeah.
something.
So if you've heard that before, there is a theory that that's going on, but it's just a theory. And I would say it's much better to drink the San Pellegrino and the lime or the lemon juice than it is to drink like coffee or soda or something else. What's that? Vodka's a different thing. I mean, if you're gonna mix the vodka, it depends. Is it gluten-free vodka? That's it. All right. So 3 liters a day, you guys with me so far. And then listen, drink the vodka. I'm not against vodka. If I was drinking alcohol, vodka would be the choice alcohol I would drink because it's made from potatoes, not from corn. It's gluten-free, you get the whole bit. But alcohol's a diuretic as well, if anyone has drank enough to realize that. So just know if you're gonna drink, go for it. Just, you gotta drink extra water too, because you'll be dehydrated. Yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna poo-poo that. Okay, so Then the last thing in there is when the fish is sick, you change the water. That's so funny. That comes from my grandpa, if you've heard me say it before. That was simply because whenever I was sick, whenever I had a cold, he's a Marine from World War II, the whole bit. Whenever I was sick, no matter how old I was, he would fill up a gallon jug with water and he would make me keep it with me and drink it all day long when I was sick. Just drink it, drink it, drink it, drink it. And I was peeing to death. You guys get that idea? But he was doing that because he was trying to overhydrate me to flush everything out. You with me so far? So that, and I used to say to him, why am I drinking this? And he'd go, when the fish is sick, you change the water. And I didn't know what it meant until I got older, so that's what he meant by it. And he said it with that much vigor, too. Like, well, just drink it. Understand this as well, that a lot of people talk about the fact that you can drink too much water. That comes up a lot. I have yet to see somebody do that living in Florida because it's so hot all the time and you're so dehydrated most of the time. And if you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated. And most people I know don't drink enough water during the day. So good luck trying to overhydrate. And then the second thing that always comes up, or third thing, is that you're going to have to pee more. Yep, you'll have to pee more. My long-standing joke is good. You'll get more exercise walking back and forth to the toilet. Not funny, I guess. And then the second long-standing joke is so many people are holding on to fluid because you need fluid. You need water for your blood and your blood pressure and your heart, and all your joints have synovial fluid. So most people, if they're not drinking enough water, they're holding on to probably 8 to 10 pounds of water weight just because they're dehydrated. So after a couple weeks of drinking enough water, your kidneys regulate your fluid volume. You'll end up losing weight. So I don't know if anyone can share that they drank a bunch of water and started losing weight, but that does happen to a lot of people. You guys, anyone had that experience willing to share? So once you start drinking it, you start losing weight.
But isn't it true if you do drink too much water and you feel like the water's up here and you don't want to drink no more, could you drown the lungs?
No, because they're two different systems. So you got the esophagus going one way and the trachea going the other way. You can't drink enough to overflow into the trachea. I mean, I guess you could, but that would be very difficult. Yes.
What about added electrolytes, like in the powders and stuff?
So that's what I was talking about. It's a good question, though. I appreciate you asking it. Talking about adding electrolytes in powder form. If you do that, if you add electrolytes in powder form, that's fine. Your body needs electrolytes. But the problem there is you don't want Gatorade, because Gatorade has electrolytes, but it's got a lot of sugar in it as well. Because that was designed for athletes that are like, constantly running downs and need the sugar for the energy as well. If you use the powder form of electrolytes, it doesn't count for your water goal. So add it, but you still have to drink the 3 liters on top of it. Okay. And then that was the first thing. I'll skip to the second thing, which is 60 to 80% of your diet needs to be green leafy vegetables, which is down here under alkalize and energize, eat more greens. So alkalize and blank energize, eat more greens. Now Jason brought this up when he said what food has B vitamins in it. So green leafy vegetables, the darker the green, the better, contain magnesium, calcium, potassium, B vitamins. They basically contain most of the minerals that you need inside of your body. And that's because they're growing out of the soil. So the soil is getting the minerals and the nutrients out of that, growing into the plant, and then you eat it, and then it helps you. Does that make sense? Yeah. The other thing about green leafy vegetables, before we start talking more detailed, the darker the green, the better they are for you, because green vegetables contain chlorophyll. Chlorophyll. Sorry, I had to think about it. And chlorophyll is like hemoglobin in your blood for plants. So the carbon dioxide factor you're talking about. So hemoglobin in your blood, your red blood cells have hemoglobin, which is an iron-based compound. And the iron-based compound bonds to oxygen, right? So that when you breathe in, the blood goes into your lungs, oxygen bonds to it, then the oxygenated blood travels to your cells and tissues, where it goes into that thing called the Krebs cycle. So oxygen plus the nutrients creates the energy. With me so far? Yeah. Yes. Then, when it's no longer bonded to oxygen, it travels back to your lungs where you're breathing oxygen and it bonds again. That's its job. Chlorophyll, humans breathe oxygen and exhale what? Carbon dioxide, basic science stuff. What do plants breathe? And what do they get rid of? Give off? Oxygen. So chlorophyll in the plant bonds to the carbon dioxide, right? And then goes through the plant cycle and then releases oxygen. You with me so far? So the reason green leafy vegetables are so good for you is carbon dioxide in your bloodstream and your system is not good for you. However, the chlorophyll also bonds to free radicals in your body. So when you're eating the green leafy vegetables, they help clean out your liver, clean out your cells, clean out your tissue. With me so far? Plus they have the nutrients, the B vitamins. They're the opposite of oxygen for the human body. So the darker the green, the more chlorophyll, the better it is for you. When you heard me talking in the back about green drinks and those type of things, and we have different green drinks, it is almost impossible to eat 60 to 80% green leafy vegetables. Amy, did you get a chance today? It was crazy busy to find out if we could get samples. We'll have to find out. The green drinks I used to, what's that? We can't get them. You can't get them. Okay. I'll just have to buy a bunch of them.
Yeah, we'll make our own.
We'll make our own, yeah. So the green drinks I used to get called Inner Light years ago, you can get them, but they're not made by the same company anymore. So the green ones we use are the nourishing greens. So basically if you get like a liter of water and you put a scoop of the greens into the water and you shake it up and you drink it, it has the same effect of eating the vegetables. You're just putting it in your digestive system a different way. You with me so far? I called today, or had Amy call today before the workshop to see if we could get sample packs so I could buy a bunch and hand them out. What I may do instead is just get a pack of it and divide it up and give it to you guys to try it, or because it's important to do, because it is difficult to eat a diet that's 60 to 80% green leafy vegetables. So I use the green drinks to overcome that factor. Does that make sense?
What's it called again? The one green drink I heard called AG or something? Or?
There's new ones now. I don't know anything about the ones that are being advertised on TV. The one is called Nourishing Greens. There's also another product. There's a guy named David Sandoval who wrote a book called The Green Food Bible. He's got a lot of great products as well. Let me look into them a little bit, and I'll tell you guys individually at the table which one I think is better now. Does that make sense? But that's what the green drinks are for. They're to alkalize the cells and tissues. So lettuce, broccoli, cauliflower, spinach, celery, cucumbers, onions, sprouts, garlic, cabbage, peas, carrots, etc. Notice, yes, I know carrots are not green, but they're vegetables. I'm trying to up the vegetable quotient in there. Cucumbers, onions, sprouts, you get it all. They should be 60 to 80% of your diet. So in my life, the salads and vegetables make up the bulk of the meals that I eat. And then there's smaller servings of protein or carbohydrates. We can talk about that in a second. And then it stabilizes your blood sugar when you eat a bunch of vegetables, because carbohydrates put a huge demand on the pancreas and create that insulin that we talked about before. And the more insulin in your system, the more unstable your energy levels are. So when you eat a bunch of carbohydrates and sugar, your body has to use insulin to break that down. Insulin's manufactured in the pancreas, and when it breaks down the carbohydrates, it breaks it down into sugar for energy, and it creates this unstable energy spike. I can show you again in a second because we've done it before. And then that's where the fat comes in. And so the last one here, so what do we do when we're talking about drink more water, right? Right? Number 2 is eat more greens, right? And then the last one is eat more fat. I know, total counterproductive. To counterculture, I wore my bacon shirt on Thursday. Did you guys see that for like Halloween? They had gotten like eggs and bacon. And like 5 people said, "You're wearing that shirt, I know you don't eat it." And I was like, I eat bacon. And I think everyone was blown away by the fact that I eat bacon. Someone told me, I haven't eaten bacon in 25 years. I was like, well, you should probably start. Because fat is good for you.
Some bacon.
Yeah, it depends how you manufacture it. It depends where. Yeah, you want to eat organic bacon, you want to eat organic meats. But I just thought it was funny. What's that?
Bacon's just good.
But I thought it was funny that we've been, after all these years, we've been just conditioned that like fat is bad, fat is bad, fat is bad. And that's just not true, right? It's what kind of fat you're eating. So let's go over that real quick.
Uncured bacon.
Uncured bacon. And you want uncured bacon, you want organic uncured bacon. You know, and I don't eat it all the time, but I do eat it. I don't there's an issue.
How about turkey bacon, turkey ground beef, stuff like that?
It's fine. I eat all that.
Still fatty?
I eat all that stuff. The fat is, well, let's talk about fat because I think you'll find it interesting. So before I do that, let's talk about the energy levels with the sugar. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but if this is time like going this way. Delta represents time in science. So this is time going this way. And then this is blood sugar levels going up like this over time. If you eat, I don't know, well, we'll do what I used to do when I had the Standard American Diet. I've taught it this way before, bear with me. I'd get up in the morning and I would, I don't know, eat like a bagel with cream cheese and maybe a Mountain Dew, right? And my blood sugar would go flying up like this. And in order for my blood sugar to get broken down, your body has to produce insulin, and it has to produce enough insulin to get above that peak. So then my energy level comes screaming down like this. And notice the energy level goes below 0. So this is where you feel tired. Everyone says that Thanksgiving makes you tired because of the tryptophan. It doesn't. It's because of the sugar and then the insulin and the blood sugar crash, and you get tired. So then I would get tired and fatigued. So what would I do? There wasn't Starbucks then, so I would just drink probably another Mountain Dew, or I'd go to Dunkin' Donuts and I'd drink some more caffeine. And then that would go up, and then my blood sugar level would go up to kind of match this, and then my energy level would crash again, and I'd get tired again. And then we'd go to lunch, and I'd go to the all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet, which was on 66th Street, which was Suki's, which was close to the VA hospital. And I would always get the sweet and sour chicken, and I'd put that red sauce all over it. You guys all been there before, right? So then that's nothing but sugar, so then my blood sugar goes up again, and then up goes the pancreas like this, and then down goes my energy, and then I would come back and I would try to find a place in the hospital to sleep where no one would find me. I'm telling you a true story.
A little extra MSG in
A
there.
little extra that too. One of my good friends growing up was a social worker at the VA when I was working as a pharmacist, and no one ever came to her office. So I'd go to her office to take a nap, and I'd just leave my pager on in case they needed me. True story, because I'm exhausted. Then, I'm drinking and working like that all day long, maybe another cup of coffee, and I'd get home at night, and it was Wednesday, so Hungry Howie's has like Wacky Wednesday, so I could get pizza, and it would go like this, and energy would crash like this. This is what people do when they eat the Standard American Diet, and it's one of the reasons that their energy levels are so affected, because they don't realize that the food they're eating is causing these huge spikes, and because before we get into this, we're not even talking about what you look like on the outside. We're just talking about your energy levels in general, because everyone metabolizes food differently. You could be thin, you could be a little heavier. I don't know how you want to think of it, just like there's plenty of skinny people dying of cancer in the hospital. So it's not about being skinny, it's about your energy levels going like this all day long. And some people are thin and do that, and some people, it's like ectomorph, endomorph, mesomorph body type. We're not talking about physicality, we're just talking about what happens. And this is what most people do in their day. They get up and when I'm driving here, I have to go by a Dunkin' Donuts. It blows my mind, the line to get a Dunkin' Donut at 7 in the morning. It also blows my mind that it's the same cars. It's the same cars. Why is it the same cars? Because we are creatures of habit. And we get into these realms where we do the same thing again and again. So I'm telling you, Grandpa used to say good habits are just as hard to break as bad habits. So you want to get good habits established. So whatever you're doing, you got to switch it. So when you do this, you're putting such a strain on your pancreas that you get diabetes way too young. And now we get kids with diabetes and everything else. Your pancreas is not designed to produce insulin and spike like that because we weren't supposed to be able to get processed foods and sugar so easily. So let's say instead you start changing what you're eating. You start eating more vegetables, start drinking more water, and then it's Halloween, and like me, you can't help it, and you eat a Three Musketeers and a Milky Way because it was in your kid's bag, right? You guys with me? Because I'm a human being. It's just the way it goes, right? I don't have those things in the house because if they're in the house, guess what? I eat them, right? So anyway, you still get that you still get that spike like that because you ate what you shouldn't eat. But if you're taking the omega fats, the essential fats that we're about to talk about, instead of it spiking your blood sugar levels, the omega fats in your system cause this change in the way the blood sugar is affected. So the insulin doesn't release as a high peak, it has this long curving peak. So then the energy production goes like this, and the insulin goes down like this. So you stay in this big archy curve when you do use the sugars and fats, and your body doesn't have to keep manufacturing insulin in these spikes. You with me so far? So when you eat healthy fats, like I'm about to talk about, not only does it affect like your joints and your health and your immune function, but it changes the way your pancreas actually releases insulin, and it creates like a stable energy profile for you. So when you're taking omega fats on a daily basis, a super EPA, or you're eating grass-fed beef, or you're doing any of these things with monounsaturated fats, the spike of the insulin doesn't spike up. It stays in your bloodstream longer, and you get away with more. Now, I'm not telling you to do it to get away with more. I'm letting you know that not only are the omega fats good for you, but they change the way your body releases insulin and the way it breaks down sugar. Does that make sense? Which is why you have so many people trying to tell you to eat more omega fats and fish oil. And then, of course, it turns into like krill oil and people selling you stuff. I know how that goes. But you're with me so far on the functional. Right. So what does that mean? That's the part in the fill-ins in the bottom where I say eat more fat, right? It's the very bottom one. Omega fats are good for you. Omega 3, 6, and 9 essential fatty acids. We talked about them in the last workshop, right? I talked about inflammatory versus non-inflammatory. You guys remember prostaglandins, right? Anyway, I can review it quickly. 3, 6, and 9 fatty acids fight against an acid diet. So, if on this side, to alkalize, we're talking about drinking more water, eating more greens, eating more monounsaturated fats, right? That's the other fill-in. No processed foods. That creates this alkaline side. What creates the acid side? Processed foods. What else? Sugar. What else? Dehydration. Alcohol. Caffeine. Nicotine. Over-the-counter drugs. Prescription drugs. Energy drinks. Donuts. Pizza. You want me to just keep going?
Three Musketeers.
Three Musketeers. Cookies.
Snickers.
Right. I know, everyone, this is like, I hate this workshop. You see what I'm talking about though, right? Now, in my life, we'll go over the fats again. Do I still eat the Three Musketeers once in a while?
Sure.
Sure I do. When Thanksgiving comes up, is my aunt in North Carolina when I'm there gonna make me a homemade cherry pie?
Yes.
And am I gonna eat it?
Yes.
With vanilla ice cream?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
And whipped cream too.
Yeah, if you like that, go for it. I'm probably gonna go for that, right? But at the same time, I'm gonna take the omega fats with me and take them on the trip. I'm gonna eat as many greens as I possibly can. I'm gonna drink as much water as I possibly can. You with me so far? So it's not about like being so, I mean, you can be strict over here if you need to. So if I came in and I got diagnosed with cancer and that was the deal, I'd be so strict on this side you wouldn't even, because I want this strong. You know what I mean? If I had a chronic disease or I was achy and in pain all the time and I wanted to reverse that, and I've done this for shoulder injuries and knee injuries, where for 90 to 120 days, I was so strict on this side because I just couldn't stand being in pain anymore. And I don't want to take anti-inflammatory drugs, and I don't want to take ibuprofen because that's bad. You with me so far? So if you need to use this, then that's why I'm teaching it. It's alkalize and energize. It's anti-inflammation. It's getting your body over here.
Doesn't lemon juice and apple cider vinegar alkaline your system also?
It does. The apple cider vinegar, the only thing I have a struggle with apple cider vinegar is there's no research on it. It's all like kind of hearsay stuff. And any vinegar, which I really like, is basically acetic acid, which is made from dead stuff. So it's like rotted stuff there. So I'm not gonna poo-poo it, go for it. But like my whole thing is the more alive it is, the more made by God it is, the more on the planet it is, the better it is. You with me so far? Right. So, but I want you to get this. Like most of the stuff we do on a daily basis increases the acid side, increases the disease process. This simple stuff gets you more over here. So you have to decide where you are and what you want to do. You know, a lot of people knew, how many people knew that I was supposed to have a shoulder replacement and I avoided it by stem cells? How many people knew that, right? How many people also know at that time they told me I couldn't practice anymore? You guys know that? That they told me that was it. I was done practicing, like, because my shoulder couldn't take it anymore. So I did stem cells. I was out of here for a while, right? I was out of here for a while. And I was so alkalized on this side that I didn't cheat for over a year because I wanted the stem cells to be effective. And then I lost a bunch of weight. That was the biggest thing. People said, like, did you lose a bunch of weight? Like from that video here. Because like, you know, you don't build a lot of muscle when you're eating like this. But you have to understand that like I didn't want to have the surgery. I wanted to save my joints. You with me so far? So trust me, I know this isn't easy. This takes discipline, you know? But who wants to do something they don't need to if they can change their whole life that way, which is why I teach this. Now, on a daily basis, you want to eat more greens, you want to drink more water, you want to eat more essential fats. So that's the bottom there. 3, 6, and 9 fatty acids fight against the acid diet. That's that Super EPA Pro we were selling last month. We sell it all the time, but I think last month it was like a special going on. Then the second fill-in is monounsaturated fats. So these are mono, M-O-N-O, monounsaturated fats. Extra virgin olive oil, flaxseed oil, sunflower, safflower, and fish oil. You want 3,000 units a day of any of that stuff, which is 3 servings a day for the most part. The reason I like the Super EPA Pro is because you just have to take like 1 of those a day and you're good. Although I can tell you, when I was trying to super alkalize myself, I was taking 2 a day. It's a supplement that I have up front that people asked about, and I had it on there last month. It helps to disperse free radicals in the bloodstream. That's the other fill-in in the bottom. Number 4, free radicals, and it lowers cholesterol naturally. So if you start using monounsaturated fats, flax oil, fish oil, extra virgin, you'll see that it lowers cholesterol naturally, and it stabilizes your blood sugar by the release of insulin in the bloodstream. And that's what I showed with that graph.
What about coconut oil?
Good, you did. And there's different versions of 3, 6, and 9s. The last workshop, Marty, I was talking about like 3s and 6s are anti-inflammatories, 9s are inflammatory. You still need them in your body, but coconut oil works. I use coconut oil all the time. One of my favorite snacks, just in case you know, like if I'm gonna cheat, and honestly it doesn't do anything negative to you, is I take rice cakes, you know rice cake? And I get natural peanut butter, and I put natural peanut butter on the rice cake, then I put coconut oil on top of the natural peanut butter.
Or honey.
Well, honey, you could use honey, but my concern with it's a natural sugar. I'd rather use honey in coffee than use white refined sugar. That's different. But the only, yes, use honey. But the thing is like, if we're trying to accomplish, I don't want to be negative because like honey's good, right? I mean, honey's not white refined bleached out sugar, right? We're good. But in this case, we're trying to alkalize this stuff, so I would use the coconut oil with, you with me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So just, the coconut oil is good.
You can put it in your coffee.
You can do that. You can put it in your coffee. And then there's different ways to juice your coffee up too. That's another workshop. All right. And then the last thing, and I'll go quick. We talked about this once before for time. You guys getting good stuff tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good. Okay, good. And stuff you can apply, right? Because there's one thing to listen to me in snippets back there. It's another thing to sit through the whole thing. So is everyone getting something new? Can I get a yes?
Yes.
Something you can apply? Because that's what I want. Like, I know all this stuff. This is how my family lives. Just like those positive affirmations every day. Because I was telling, I guess Cynthia and Marty today, like, I'm sick of a world where we don't have like good, strong, ethical Christian leaders who do what they say they're going to do. So like we need that. And so I'm not going to stand up here and tell you to do this stuff, and I do it. This is how my family lives. And I'm being real transparent. Do I drink vodka? Yeah, right? You brought it up. Did I eat the 3 Musketeers? I don't drink a lot. I hardly drink at all actually. But if I'm gonna, if I have 1 drink a month, it's a lot. But you hear me, like I'm human, right? But this is how we live our life. So I'm teaching these things not because like I'm entertaining, because I could be at home and my son's at baseball practice tonight, but I love you guys enough to be here teaching you. So why am I saying that? I want you to apply something. Take something out of this. You don't have to do it all. Start eating the fish oil for a while. Start taking that. You'll feel better. You'll know. Start drinking more water and you'll be like, man, I feel a lot better. Maybe I'll start eating more green leafy vegetables. Like, take 1 step forward out of faith and then watch it build. Because I can tell you on Friday of next week, I'll be 53. And I can tell you that at 53, Friday this week, November 7th, I am healthier at 53 than I was at 23. But it's because I apply all the stuff I'm teaching you guys. Like someone asked me about my career. I tell you what, my career has been a blessing because in order to do it, I have to live it. Right? Because I hate it when people tell me. It bothered me when the doctors would tell people one thing and do something else. So that's been the blessing. All right, last thing. Sorry, I'll end here. You have to eat at the right time. That's the other thing. We did this once before, but you have breakfast, you've got lunch, and you've got dinner, right? Now, you'll hear people talk about intermittent fasting, right? Versus like eating small meals a day. And here's what I will tell you. I'm a huge workout guy. I've been lifting weights my whole life. Most of it is to manage my stress. It has become to stay healthy because I like it. Just like exercising, you have to change what you're doing, otherwise your body adapts to it. So you cannot do the same thing every day, like muscle confusion, right? So if I'm gonna lift, for example, one day I'll lift like chest and buys, and then the next time I do it, I'll do chest and shoulders, or I'll do chest and tris, or I'll do legs and back. Like I move it all around. Because the people who go every day and do the same thing every day when they go to the gym, their body gets used to it and they stop changing. Right? Because your body's deal is it needs to constantly be pushed to adapt. And the body wants to adapt. So if you do the same thing every day and you eat the same thing every day, your body just adapts to that and you get to a certain growth spot, but it doesn't change. So right when you think your body has adapted, it's time to switch everything you're doing. You with me so far? That's tough for people because we're creatures of habit. We want to go to Dunkin' Donuts every morning, right? So you have to constantly be shifting and adapting what you're doing. My workouts are always like that. I never do the same workout twice anymore because I'm trying to make my body confused. It's the same thing with what I'm about to teach you. Most people don't eat enough food, just so you know. When you look at like calories and how many calories you need to maintain muscle and everything else, most people don't eat enough. And in times where I like leaned out for a bodybuilding contest back in the day, some of you guys have that experience, I ate more than I was used to eating because I had to eat all the time to keep the nutrients up. So it was like I was full all the time. I wasn't starving myself, but I was getting leaner. That's how it works, right? So I'm telling you that because for most people, they don't eat enough. They're just eating once a day or twice a day. So when we shift into staying fit while you sit, you should try to eat 5 to 6 times a day. Because the number one user of energy in the body is digestion. It takes more energy to break the food down a lot of times than it does that you're actually going to use it. So you want to keep your digestion constantly working. Now that being said, you should have a fasting phase at some point too, because the number one user of energy in the body is digestion, and you're constantly using your digestive system. That's why people end up with colon cancer, because your digestive system never gets a chance to rest and you have a challenge. So it's not this conversation. But you want to go to 5 to 6 small meals a day, and when you eat, things matter. So if you're taught to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which is just 3 meals, you've also been taught you've got proteins, carbohydrates, and fats, and that these need to be balanced. I don't know how many times in my life I heard balanced diets, balanced nutrition. But that's not really true because at different times of the day, you have different nutrition requirements. So the last meal of the day, when you're sleeping at night, why do you need to sleep? What's your body doing? Resting, rebuilding, repairing, right? What is your body made out of? Sugar or proteins and fats? Proteins and fats. So water. And water. Water all day long consistently, right? But the last meal of the day should be high in protein and high in fat and have no carbohydrates in it. And that's counterproductive because most people starve themselves all day, then they get home at night and they eat potatoes and sweet potatoes and sugar and cookies and because you're hungry all day long. Or you get comforty food, right? Then when you get up in the morning, you've been using energy to rebuild your tissues all night long, so your energy reserves are shot. So when you get up in the morning, what creates energy? Proteins, fats, or carbohydrates? So this needs to be high, and then you really don't need any protein and fat in the morning meal. Now what do I mean? I don't mean Dunkin' Donuts. I mean like oatmeal, half a sweet potato. I mean, we can go the list of what those should be, but I want you to hear this. And then your lunch would be where you'd have a balanced or a medium amount of all 3. You with me so far? And then what you want to notice is this trend, because if this is breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you got to put snacks in between to get where you need to be, to get 5 or 6 small meals. So for example, I get up in the morning and I'll have a cup of coffee, right? And I normally will have a green drink in the morning at house because I know I drink the coffee. But then I'll have like organic gluten-free oatmeal in the morning, right? Then a couple hours later, we start getting into this snack time. This is normally where I'll kind of eat an apple, right? Or this would be where I start having eggs. A lot of you guys see me eat that, and also see me eat eggs at this point because I'm getting into this middle lunchtime. Then for lunch, I'm going to normally eat some type of protein, which is going to be chicken or steak, fit in the palm of my hand. I'm sorry, that protein would be down here. This would be protein. And then this in here, palm of my hand, I'm gonna probably eat maybe some jasmine rice or basmati rice, which is a low glycemic index carbohydrate, or maybe half a sweet potato again. And then basmati rice, right, aromatic. And then this fat right here, my meat is probably gonna be, most of the meat that I eat is grass-fed beef. Because grass-fed beef has more omega fats than fish does in it, because cows eat grass. And then this last meal when I get home at night, I'm probably just gonna eat another piece of steak or chicken and a salad. And then I have vegetables all day long to like snack through the day. You with me so far? So like this is the 5 or 6 meal plan, and it's kind of what has to happen. You want to eat every 2 to 3 hours. So you want to start off with more carbs, and as the day goes on, no carbs, mostly protein and fat. I know, it's a chicken scratch mess. And probably too much to give you guys in one night. But I want you guys to have enough meat in what we're talking about, no pun intended, where you can start implementing some of this stuff and trying it for yourself. And then remember how I said you have to change it up just like working out? So then typically I would do something like this for 6 to 8 weeks. And then 6 to 8 weeks down the road, then I would switch and I would go to like an intermittent fasting protocol. And that's another workshop. But for now, for most people, they just don't eat enough. Or they're not cooking anymore, so they don't have kids, or they live alone or something. And so they're just not eating enough food. And so that would be how I would do that, even though that looks messy. Okay? Yes? No? Maybe so? All right, everyone get something good tonight? Good. I don't know if we have any Super EPA Pros, because I wasn't planning on selling it. I'm sure everyone's going to ask now after the fish oil. But here's what I want. Between now and next month, because we have your sign-up list, thank you for signing those up. I want everyone here to try to drink more water, eat more healthy fats, and eat more greens. Can you guys at least try to do that for me? And cut out the processed foods as much as you can, and let me know how it goes. But that is the basic plan to alkalize your cells and tissues.